Is it something new? Something fresh? And
yeah, I suppose it's fresh.
it's fresh.
I suppose it's fresh. Fresh as a peach.
Don't know fruit. Anyway, we're going to go into a few things.
Yes, we are. So we're basically going to, I don't know, we're going to discuss today the history of the Ouija board, but we are also going to be delving into dark poetry, the darker aspects of life, shall we say, whether it's people's point of views, whether it's people's like readings or anything else on that matter. We're going to be testing the waters yet again on something else.
Or even beliefs.
We will. We'll dig into it. We'll dig a deep grave and bury ourselves in it at this point. I mean, we're doing fine, but you know. But yeah, in today's episode of the Dark Corner, we're going to be discussing the history of the Ouija board, or Ouija.
Ouija board.
Ouija board, Ouija board, Ouija, Ouija. Omana. Could be anything.
The hoodoo with the voodoo.
If you want to do voodoo, that's fine.
No, I'm good.
You sure? Are you sure?
Maybe later.
Maybe later. Maybe I can like resurrect you from your sleep.
I swear to God, if I don't sleep tonight, I'm hunting you.
Try for you. We're using this board. So we will be using the Ouija board. I suppose it depends where you come from. Like if you're from, I mean, it was distributed in the United States.
Yeah.
I suppose over there it would be Ouija board, whereas over here it's classed as Ouija board.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be delving into the history, how it was made, what it was made for, and whether people not necessarily have had scary experiences, because I'll get to the reason why you probably won't have a scary experience with this board. After I ran the Nautica experience, and we came across the weird one, the green thing, I actually went out and purchased this one because I thought, you know what, we could make something of this. In terms of its history, letting people know what it's like.
Yeah. I will just lift that up a little bit.
Okay. Oh dear. Shit's happening. There we go. There we go. So I actually have never. Are we good? Do you need to stabilise it a bit more?
Yeah.
He's stabilising. Get things stabilised, sir. Get things stabilised. So we're gonna. Well, I will dig into the history of the Ouija board, and we won't necessarily. I won't necessarily tell you, you know, what it has done, or what people seem to believe, but we will be using it. We'll be testing it. I mean, it's. If you want to believe a board with numbers and letters on it, be my guest. I'm sure many people have had experiences with the Ouija board, but I can almost assure you we will not have no experiences with the Ouija board. I'm pretty comfortable in using it in my own home. I'm probably bound to get a demon, which many people have said I probably would get. But yeah, we're digging into the darker aspects of what we actually enjoy and what we want to share with you.
Yeah.
So I'll read from my trusty book. You may remember it from The Unsettled.
Yeah.
Lovely little book this is.
Book of knowledge.
I would probably get arrested for the shit that's written in this book.
The dark macabre.
So let's dig a grave and dig deep. So in 1848, two sisters told their neighbour about a banging that a spirit was doing in New York in their home. The sisters showed people how the spirit would mimic hand claps. So basically they would clap their hands and the spirit would do it back. Which I thought was quite interesting, because this kind of kicks the ball rolling in terms of spiritualism, because you're looking at 1848. You're looking at a date very specific where not many people would possibly believe it, or there would be more of the people that would be like, holy shit, that's real. Yeah. But these two sisters are famous. I'll get to why they're famous.
And I believe they've made a film out of that one as well.
It's very possible. I mean, the sisters are actually a big part of history in terms of spiritualism, which I thought was quite interesting. So basically, they began showing their neighbours that they could clap their hands, and the spirit began to copy it back. Then the spirit began to get more powerful, talking, and eventually said or told the sisters he was murdered in the house His name was Charles B. Rosa. They got someone out to check the house. They found a body in the house of Charles B. Rosa. That is interesting to me. They found the body. So that to me, that's really, really interesting. So the family sent the daughters away from the house to live with their older siblings to keep them safe. Apparently the sisters had been communicating with other spirits as well. They became famous for this story and how they spoke to the spirits. At this point, it was causing cultures and beliefs to escalate. Many people began to question religion, the Bible, and their own state of mind. The name of these sisters I shall tell you, but a body, like I said, the body was found, and it was the skeleton. They was called the Fox Sisters. They are known for their movement and rise in spiritualism. So they were known to actually speak to the dead, which I thought was kind of clairvoyant-y, a bit on that scale, and I was just like, that's really interesting. But due to the Civil War ending, many families back then wanted to speak to their missing loved ones, as many do today, and they had no closure. So during the war, they wanted to know if their husband or wife or anyone, or their brother, sister was dead, and they couldn't find this out. So, while many spiritualists began proving evidence the dead can be spoken to, communication to this was slow. Table topping and candles were the means at this point. So that was their main mean of usage. Table topping. I mean, I will do an experiment with you in the dark corner. I will show you this. It involves a candle and a mirror. And what you see is very creepy. But this will be for another episode, but I want you to experience it because it is quite creepy. And if you want to experience it at home, get a candle.
We will do.
Yep, you get a long candle, get a mirror, light the candle and stare into the flames, and gradually you will see yourself in the mirror, but as someone else. It is a creepy experiment. And I was like, you would love to do that. You really would. But at this point, the only means of communication with the dead was bangs on walls, or writing down letters, or through the knocking system. So they would say knock 2 times if your name begins with A. You know, they would go through the alphabet in terms of this. But this was the only means of communication with the dead that they could possibly come up with at this point. Right? So the one innovator who created the planchette, or planchette, however you want to say it, created a small triangle device that a pencil would be attached to, so spirits could write out a message. So basically, the planchette that you use with the Ouija board,
the hole would symbolise the pen.
And
or
it would go through and spell out messages. Bit of skepticism here, but it's still a good way. And it sold so many of these. Right? Triangle device and pencil would fit through. Spirits could write out the message. It was made popular when an American toy company, Kirby's, began to make it. But no one knows how it was actually brought to the companies. So no one knows who originally came up with the idea. Right? But it is said that it was a French spiritualist, but yet no records remain. But all the bishops in Paris in 1856 banned the use of this toy. Because they thought it went against religion, it went against everything that anyone would believe in. So I was like...
It kind of debunks a little bit.
It does. But it's the fact it's like, oh no, our religion is more powerful. You can't speak to the dead. Once they're dead, they're rested. So to me, it's like they're scrapping any type of means of communication.
You can only commune with them through the Holy Church and blah, blah, blah.
So in 1890, the planchette was improved by 2 gentlemen called Charles Kennard. Instead, they changed the planchette, added felt, took away the pencil. They also began to make a board with numbers, letters, and a yes and no. And then they began to call it the Ouija board, and managed to get it into the company licensed in Kennard companies. After the company created the board, they marketed the board with a medium to give credibility. The medium also had shares in this company, right? So whether they used the medium in terms of selling the board, we don't know. But we do know this. She was a sister-in-law to one of the investors of the board. But when asked for the name that is spelled out Ouija, many said it was misspelled. It was also never stated how the device worked. So Helen Peters, who was the medium, who also invested in this board, began to say it did not work.
Oh.
Yeah. So she actually went to court because they used her as a marketing symbol to market the board, and she said it doesn't work. The board doesn't work. Okay. So despite its popularity, she told people not to use the board, not to believe the board. On her deathbed, she also said, "Please don't believe the board. It lies."
Ooh.
So, like I said, it's a good little piece of information that even a medium at this point in history said that the board lied. Which is coincidental because many people allegedly have used the board to contact loved ones and they've got something else. Whether it was accident, it depends how you want to use the board. Depends how you think about the board.
Yeah, I would assume that, you know, it's more of an open thing.
If you were to believe the board, yes.
Yeah, if you were to believe that what you're doing is going to get the end result that you want it
exactly
to, then you don't really know what you're going to be communicating.
But it's very clever in terms of how she thought. She said the board lies. She said don't trust the board. And at this point, this is a medium who is a very well-known medium. But they invested her for the board to sell it.
Yeah.
And then she was telling people it doesn't work. Don't believe the board. Which is kind of creepy. If you hear a medium say don't believe the board, it lies. Like that adds a little dark factor to the whole Ouija board.
Yeah.
You know? So, are you interested? It's very interesting, isn't it? So, 2 years into the company, Cannard, who was also part of the company, was forced out of his company by his financial backers. This allowed William to take over the company along with his brother. They began mass producing the board after changing the name to OUIJA Novelty Company. Despite other talking boards being sold, Ouija board was the most successful. But why was this the most successful? Why was, like, other Ouija boards, well, spirit boards, however you want to say it, were successful, but not like this one? Right. The successful part of this board, marketing, was claiming it was mysterious and keeping the origins a secret. It made this possible for continuous spark in sales. So if you're basically trying to advertise this board, you're going to say, look, the name's mysterious, what it does is mysterious, whereas everyone else said spirit talking board. They are really pushing this board. And they said, look, the name was mysterious, no one knows why this board is this board. So it helped sell it in some retrospect. So to me, that's kind of saying, like, okay. They also, as I will now go into it, they also said it was a date night game. Which would help couples spend time together.
Okay.
Right, so, and don't forget, this is especially when a time when men and women wasn't to be allowed to be alone together.
Yep.
Right, because they thought they were like, oh, they're up to no good. It's always shunned upon.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You had to be married before you.
Yes.
Commune with each other.
Whereas this board helped couples have date nights.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, have a Ouija board.
Yeah, we're just playing a game.
Yeah.
It's very, very close to each other.
Yeah, but the whole idea of the game was it had to be two genders, male and female, which at the time, obviously, females and men wanted to get to know each other. This Ouija board is like an icebreaker.
Yeah.
It's literally like, okay, you've got to sit opposite me, our knees have to touch and our hands have to touch to get this game to work. So it's kind of like a bit of intimacy. It's kind of like a bit of flirt as well.
Yeah.
And to be honest, there's probably a lot of single people out there that were like, hey, let's use the Ouija board. Let's try and get something going on. See what I mean? But it basically stated on this game, they had to be touching each other. The game helped couples spend time together and have a fun time. So that's how they marketed this board. This is why it sold so many.
Yeah.
They said that the origins were mysterious.
They got around it.
Yeah.
They got
and
around
they basically still classed it as a board game. So it's like, oh, come round and play a game of Ouija. Would you come round and have a game of Ouija? Well, I'm about to. See, for me,
I feel like I'm about to dive into Jumanji.
You just want the music in the background. Yeah, exactly. But for me to think like this game was marketed at couples or people wanting to get to know each other is kind of funny. And like I said to you, you like imagine if Facebook was alive back then, or like alive and running, and they like were messaging each other saying like, "Hey, do you want to come around and touch my planchette?" or hey, do you want to spell some names out on the board?
Mm.
Like, theoretically, this is your only chance to have any type of contact with a female without being shunned upon.
Yeah.
So this game probably led to many births.
Yeah.
May I add, this game has probably been the sex pot of couples' relationships.
Mm.
How did you meet? Oh, we did a Ouija board. It's like, oh, did you? Mum, I don't know. But it's kind of weird because you got to think of it. They marketed the board this way.
Yeah.
They made this board as it is, and I'm just like, okay, that's kind of clever. They realise that people want to spend time together. They can't spend time together alone, so they create a game that couples want to play.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird because me and you are going to play it, and we're not a couple.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah. But like, you know, people would actually say, hey, do you want to come around mine and we'll play the Ouija board? And it's a way for people to communicate, without, like I said, without being shunned upon. But can you imagine, like, you know, like, you're that guy and you think like, oh, this board doesn't work. Like, in terms of it doesn't work, it's a board game. But maybe if I can convince this lady that I like that it works.
Maybe then, yeah, she'll come to me rather than...
Yeah. I mean, imagine you're back then, right? Envision it. Sense the prospect of a beautiful young lady opposite you, knees touching, you've never touched her before, and both your knees are touching, your hands are both on the planchette, and you spend out sexy time in 5 minutes. And she just looks at you and goes, what? And you're just like, the ghost said so. Casper said so.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a fucking sex tool. They could have literally labelled it as the Ouija sex toy.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Would you have sex with me? Yes. Am I attractive? No. But that could have been the questions that they asked. We're just guessing at this point.
We don't know exactly.
No, we just know it was a date night game.
Yeah.
But can you imagine the woman's reaction when like the guy spells out anal? And she's like, anal? And he was like, oh wow. Definitely moving on with this. Definitely moving on. Can you imagine that? Like, you haven't met this girl before apart from tonight and you spell out anal? And she's like, no, don't do that. Casper's watching. Casper ain't gonna be approved.
No.
But the game did seriously insist on two genders sat opposite each other, knees and fingers touching. William Fold built a large company to manufacture the board. Due to its mass production, that's a building I would like to have explored. Like, when it became derelict, I would have loved to time travel and go back and just check out that building, see what it was like.
The stories that it would tell.
There is a big story to this place. And it's kind of like a, oh shit, that happened kind of story. But I don't know, I just thought about exploring. That was probably the only time I'm going to explore a factory of any type of mass production.
Yeah.
May I add, William Fold, I think that's his name, or Ford or Fold, F-U-L-D.
Yeah.
He actually said the board told him to create the building.
Okay.
Whether that got investors to help him make the building or possibly build the building itself, he said that the board told him to make a big building and sell it. So I think this board had a fucked up connection with this guy. He must have believed it, to be quite honest. So anyway, while William was on the top of the roof of the factory, right, he was checking over the groundworks of the work that was being taken place on the building of the factory. Right? So he started building the factory. He's on the top. He's monitoring the builders. Right. He leant against an iron support of the beam and it broke. William literally fell to the ground, but grabbed onto a window ledge before he fell. Allegedly, many people at the time saw William fall off the building. He grabbed onto the window ledge, and people that were shouting down to him saw the window close on his fingers and he plummeted to the floor. Kind of spooky that the window ledge just dropped. Well, the window dropped onto his fingers and he fell to the floor. And it's kind of weird how
it's like the building tried to kill him.
Yeah, it's like he went over the edge and he still managed to grab onto the window ledge as he fell over. So basically the iron support he was holding onto, he fell and he grabbed onto the window ledge.
Yeah.
Then the window ledge collapsed on his fingers and he fell to the floor, right? Do you want to play this game? Oh, the candle. Right. So yeah, it slammed onto his hands, which made him fall to the ground. Here's the crazy bit. He survived the fall. From the building. He survived. He laid there with a lot of injuries, one of that of broken ribs, broken pelvis, and he was put into a carriage and rushed to hospital. On the way to the hospital, the carriage hit a bump en route to the hospital, which caused his rib to fracture and puncture his heart, killing him instantly. What an unfortunate soul.
That's like Final Destination, mate.
Yeah, it sounds like the board wanted him dead.
It's like you.
To me, I'm kind of like, oh shit. So the beam that he's holding on the roof snaps. Yeah. He falls, manages to grab onto a window ledge. The window ledge drops onto his fingers, or the window drops to his fingers. He falls
to the ground.
Survives.
He survives.
Gets put into a carriage to get taken to a nearby hospital. The carriage hits a bump. His rib splinters, pierces his heart. He dies at the scene in the carriage. How unfortunate is
that
this?
is Final Destination shit right there.
But it's fucking interesting. It is so good. But yeah, killing him.
Instantly.
Yeah. So, the board games still continue to sell. Right, should we add? The First World War encouraged its sales also for people to contact loved ones. It was later purchased by the Parker brothers in 1966. I will state this, it's going to shock you. This is the only board game in history to outsell Monopoly.
I can imagine.
It is the only game. But that is crazy.
That is crazy.
It's crazy to think this is a board game that outsold Monopoly. And it still does today because of the popularity. But it's rare to get hold of them now.
Yeah.
But obviously you can imagine if they were mass produced. I mean, you could buy shitty ones online and so on. But you can imagine if it was mass produced now and it had some credibility behind it, it would sell every board game. Buckaroo would be out the window. Is Buckaroo classed as a board game?
Technically.
Okay, right, we'll go with
Technically.
that. Okay. It was seen as a novelty and a party game. And this is how they got around it being the spirit board. Right? It changed in 1973 though, when The Exorcist came out. 12-year-old gets possessed in the film, yada yada yada, by the board. Yeah? You get the idea.
Yeah.
So overnight, people who owned the board got rid of it. Because of a film. They were freaked out.
Yep.
Right? Believing it a portal to hell and Satan. It was dubbed the game of gamble. Religious groups called it evil and condemned it. Even alleged paranormal investigators don't use the board, and they also said that anyone does use the board, it possesses big risks. This is paranormal investigators, mate. I don't believe in ghosts. But still, you get the idea. You get the idea how a movie has now made this board game, because they used it in the movie, as evil. Yeah. I mean, I did watch a lot of videos on people using the Ouija board, right? And I watched a lot of videos of it being faked, and I watched everything else, right? Now, I am the biggest skeptic going. I've seen shit I can't explain, as you all know, but I don't believe in ghosts. No matter whether I've seen one or not. But for people to believe this is a portal to hell, and it should be condemned, and anything else along that line is fucking ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
But we are going to be testing out the board.
We will be.
And I hope you guys stay tuned for the testing out, because it is in this episode. Ghosties. But here's where I now think this board has nothing to do with anything else. In terms of ghosts, contacting anyone, or anything else. Right, and we'll also do this test. And we might do this test on camera, just to show you guys. We'll use my rings as an example. Okay?
Okay.
Right? So, psychological... I can't, it's too late. I've ruined it. I was on the momentum. Mate, I know what...
Psychologists.
Psychologists. There we go. Why can't I ever say it first time? Why? Psychologists say the game works by a ideomotor effect, a subconscious movement caused by prior expectations wanting on the board to spell out things subconsciously. Whether I've said the ideometer or whatever it is. So basically...
Ideometer.
Yeah. So basically, you could hold that planchette and gradually, as much as you're telling yourself don't move it to yes, you will gradually start moving it to yes, subconsciously.
Purely because that you want it that much to work, because everyone's like, it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah. You want to try and prove people wrong. Work. And to be honest, if there's a group of you, the maximum impact of all of you wanting it to go to yes, you're all encouraged subconsciously. I mean, it's a perfect explanation of how this board works.
Yeah, because I imagine it went from that that couples game to then the family game to then get your friends around kind of thing.
Exactly,
And
and
we'll all have a go.
if they're all believing that they can speak to ghosts, they all want some evidence to speak to a ghost. You all want that closure, especially during World War One, Two. You're gonna want to speak to a loved one. You're not gonna know.
I would even say, like, even the biggest of skeptics, that if it moved in front of you and everyone else went, then you would be like, whoa.
I mean, if the planchette moves on the table without us touching it, without us even moving, then we can kind of go, okay, it could be at an angle. I would put it down to angles, gravity shift, whether there's dust or water on the board, you can make it move quicker. Like, I've looked at other people's versions of how they've used this, and yeah, it is kind of weird, it is kind of crazy, but your body enables you to move the planchette in a way. And like I said, you have your friends round, you start doing the Ouija board, you're all wanting to contact someone, whether it's for closure, whether it's to get a symbol, whether it's to get a sign, or whether it's just for the pure hell of it that you think you can contact a demon. You're all gonna want to
pure proof.
Yeah, you're all gonna put your fingers on it, and you're all gonna gradually move it to yes. Whether subconsciously you know you're doing it, or whether not, you still have tiny vibrations and movements in your fingers, which will gradually start to move the planchette. So, like I said, it comes down to, yes, you can make one out of paper. Yes, you can use a piece of cardboard. I'm not here saying to you that it's not real, but I'm here saying to you that your movement makes it real.
You can believe in something,
right?
And you can basically not trick yourself, but you can make yourself believe something.
Yes.
By repeating it over and over and over
See,
and over in your head.
I think this is the best thing for this channel, is the fact that I am a very big skeptic. I will try and narrow down every possibility of this board being fake, and you will possibly be there going, "Oh no, it moved. Something weird did happen." Now, before we even do this board, there is nothing set up. We will show you the setup of this board. I haven't used it. It's the first time you're seeing it today. After I sent you pictures saying, "Look what I got," and literally you were like, "Oh, okay."
Okay, cool. Awesome.
And to me, it's a game. To me, it's not a portal to the afterlife. It's not us trying to contact someone. But if it does move, that is us subconsciously moving it without us knowing. Now, it is an effect. It can happen.
It can happen. It can
and
happen.
Now,
I've got to admit, I'm a very slight believer.
Okay.
Not of the board game.
But of being able to see something.
Yeah.
Like a ghost perhaps walks into your living room and you're like, "Oh, hey." Like, I've seen that shit.
I have seen that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we spoke about, I saw a shadow. You've seen someone walk into your bedroom when you're watching a painting video. I mean, I used to go to Spiritualist church and use a scrying mirror. What are you looking at? What's growing? Is something growing? Have I got a lump? Please tell me. It's like I've been pushed for a bush. Please tell me.
2 horns, mate.
Oh, are they visible? Shit! But, like, you've seen shit you can't explain, right? But then now I've told you how this board works, you're now thinking like, it makes sense.
It makes sense.
Right, we're going to do a quick test.
Okay.
Right, I'm going to tell you what this is, and then we're going to show the camera. Okay, so basically this idiometer effect, or subconscious movement caused by prior expectations, wanting of the board to spell out things subconsciously. Right, we're going to use 2 of my rings. Right, we're going to hold them by a piece of string. Right, and subconsciously the strings will move forwards and backwards. Once you say, if there's anyone there, I want the ring to move forward and backwards. I'm also going to show you how you can make it move side to side.
Okay.
And you're not going to do anything; it's going to do it itself.
Okay.
Because it's going to be your subconscious thought. I'll do it with you. Okay?
Okay.
But this proves how we're holding up a piece of string with our rings on it, and how gradually it's going to start moving without us wanting it to move, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. This is where it gets interesting. Okay, so you have your piece of string.
Yep.
And I'm going to join in with you. I'm going to hold it as still as I can.
Yeah, that's as still as I'm going to get it.
Right, yeah, exactly right. Think forwards and backwards. Think forwards and back.
Oh man.
Right, because you're thinking it, it will work. And you were going forwards and backwards. See?
Mm-hmm.
Right, now think side to side. Gradually you'll see it there.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
And this is how the planchette works. Look. We are not moving this.
No.
We're holding it.
Yep.
Think forwards, backwards. Think you want it to move forwards and backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Look, gradually.
You can see it stop and just change direction.
Yeah. Because you are wanting it to go forwards and backwards. Although the ring is circular and I'm pointing mine forwards and backwards. Twist your string a little bit. That's it. Now think forwards and backwards. Gradually, see? Now is that kind of weird or not?
Mm.
Yeah? See, we've both made it go forwards and backwards.
Oh, that was weird.
Yeah?
I just told it to stop.
Yeah? Because now your body, look, stop. Look. It's slow.
Like my arm's shaking.
Yeah?
But the ring stopped.
Yeah? Forwards, backwards? Just to give you a bit of proof, you got to really think. Because your brain doesn't want to do it. But your whole body wants to. And now, side to side, look, gradually. Gradually, it will start. Look, mine's doing circles. But this is a clear example of how it can work. But that is your own body wanting you to move something.
Yeah, it's...
I will zoom out now. Now, was that weird or not?
Oh no, that was weird.
God.
That was weird.
How do you feel now?
Yes, but I can understand the science behind it.
Yes.
So it's weird, yes, but it's weird in a way of it's weird that our body can do that.
Yeah.
Like with just the slightest, and like with like the pulses through your thumb, because you're holding it between that aspect and you're holding it above your heart. Your heart's having to then beat twice as fast.
But was your heart beating fast when you were holding it? Were you holding it and thinking, oh wow?
Well, that's the thing. That's what I said to you. My arm was starting to shake because I was holding it up.
It's all about your subconscious thought.
But as I said to you, I told it to stop, and it.
Yeah. Whereas I told mine to go around in circles in the end, and I weren't twisting my fingers. I weren't holding it. It was just doing it on its own. You ready for the Ouija? Or Ouija?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. Told you this would be interesting. I'm debunking. So, you can see the table, you can see our board. I will do another experiment while we do this. We will do it with our 2 fingers on each side, right? And then we'll do that one. Then I'll also show you how I did it, where we might have to do it that way because we can't physically move it.
You can't physically, no.
Because if you do it, you slide off.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, you can kind of catch the raised number, but
yeah. Well, what the thing
if we go either side.
You see the O and the U?
Yeah.
That's where you put your 2 fingers, right? I will use the J and the A. Right, now put your fingers on the O and the U. Now we can move the board to yes very quickly because of where our fingers are positioned, right? Now, if we were to put our fingers, say, here, now try and move it to yes.
It would lift. It would lift.
Yeah? So yet again, your fingers are meant to be firmly placed onto this board, onto this part.
Yeah.
So then you can move it. Now, I've seen people go clockwise or anti-clockwise. It's entirely up to you whether you want to go clockwise or anti-clockwise. We got to do it twice.
I was always told, and clockwise to open.
Yeah.
Anti-clockwise to close.
Okay. We do clockwise. So it's 2 of us, so we do it twice.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. 1. See how difficult it is. 2. Right. Would you like to ask the spirit first? You have got a look of nervousness after I've told you. See, what I'll also do is I will rest my 2 fingers just gently on it. Do you want to ask the board anything?
Is there anyone here with us? Is there anyone here watching?
sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Maybe edging that way, but
yeah. So if there's anyone here with us, we would like you to move the planchette to yes. We would like some communication just to see who's about, see if there's anyone here. Just to see if the board will move. But just remember, just relax your fingers, and gradually our fingers should start moving it. Subconsciously or not, we should start to move. Already your fingers are a bit... Oh,
they're edging.
They're edging because they want
edging.
to move. But put our pressure down. Put pressure on the fingers.
Yeah.
Right. If there's anyone here, can you move the planchette, this thing here, to yes? Anyone at all? Any spirit, your grandmother, my grandmother, anyone here, can you move this to yes? Use some energy and move it to yes. We could be here all night.
It could be.
But
my grandmother is stubborn.
But the thing is, if this now flies off that way, you're going to shit yourself.
A little bit.
Yeah, exactly. But nothing's happening.
No.
And I put a lot of pressure down on this. So I'm making sure it won't move. Now I'm going to let go and just gently press my fingers like this. You don't have to put that much pressure on it. Look how sturdy your finger is. Relax both fingers. Right.
I can't, because one finger's longer than the other.
It's the same as most people. But if there's anyone here with us who would like to speak to Will or I, come forward and go to yes. See, look. Did you see that? Because you're subconsciously wanting it to move.
Yeah.
So gradually...
So it would get to a point, because both of our wrists are on there.
Yeah, we're now... Look, it is itching towards yes. It is going that way.
It
is. But we're subconsciously doing it.
Yeah.
Whether we're on a nerve, we're on a muscle, but most people said you have to have your hand up.
Yeah, and it's just fingertips.
Yeah. But look.
I would...
See? That was... So if there's anyone here with us, please use this board to come to yes. To even spell out your name. Even try and, basically give us a number, my age or Will's age. Just basically anything, any type of movement. Like anything at all. Like it doesn't really matter what we do or what you do. But gradually, it moved a little bit. Subconsciously it's moving.
It is indeed.
Would you like to speak to us? Would you like to come forward? Subconsciously. Where are you going? Are you moving? Can you feel a pulse in your fingers? Yeah.
My middle finger.
Yeah. So where are you going? Who is here with us? Try and spell out your name. It's slowly moving. You gonna shit yourself?
No.
No? It's going somewhere.
As I said, I'm open.
It's going somewhere. But my fingers are tingling because of the angle and how we're holding this board. Yeah. So you can kind of see how even the slightest movement is going somewhere. I don't know what number it's going to or what letter it's going to.
My muscle is literally like pulsing.
Twitching? It's going to know. No one wants to speak to us. That's a J or a K. Okay, so keep spelling out the rest of your name. If you really want to. If you think you can. It's stuck. My fingers are stuck.
I literally can't move my fingers.
Yeah. It's spelling. See, it's moving, but it's because of our gentle movement on it that it is not officially moving.
No.
I mean, on camera it will look like it's moving. Most people would be like screaming right now. But gradually, it will stop. Is it stopping? Is it still moving?
It's edging.
It's edging.
It's edging.
So come on,
I just don't know where.
Use our energy, use our power to try and move it somewhere. Move it to yes. Give us a sign of using the board. And it's on H. Is it H? I suppose that's in the middle, mate. It doesn't care.
So it's just got J.
J and a H. And it's now not moving. Whether it's because our fingers are tensed, whether it's because we can't move it, I have no idea.
And literally fingertips.
Yeah. But it's moving. It's moving somehow. It's twitching. Oh, it's actually turning. You're actually making it turn. You're like, oh shit. Oh no. Demon. So, can you go somewhere? Can you use our energy? Can you at least go somewhere on the board that spells something out? Whether it's hard, whether it's not. It could be anything. See, my finger, my middle finger.
My hand is so cold.
Really? It's
like,
warm. It's
my
warm.
fingertips
Warm.
are freezing.
Oh dear.
It's like it's someone just gently like
touching your hand, perhaps.
Just blowing on my hand.
Nothing's blowing on your hand. The candles would move. But it seems to have stopped somewhere. Oh, it's turning. It's turning. It's moving. Where are you going? See, everyone that's watching this is thinking like, what the fuck? But I've just explained how it is actually working.
Mm.
And you're just like, oh god, it's going to D. That means death. It's going to S. Oh no, sorry, yes. It's going somewhere.
It's definitely looking like it's going up there.
But is that because we're wanting it to go to yes?
Well, that's the thing, right?
Is it because we want it that way? I mean, it's literally stopping on literally 2 letters at a time.
Mm.
Make up your mind, Will. Where do you want it?
I want it on the moon.
Wait, you're going the wrong way, mate.
No.
But like I said, it's all coming down to... Oh, hello. It's all coming down to what we want it to move to. And our subconscious thought is wanting it to go to yes.
Mm.
So, you can relax. How's your fingers?
Look, literally, they're
Feel mine.
It's just so warm, but look,
Yeah.
feel that.
That is freezing.
That is literally cold.
Maybe someone was touching your hand. Right. As you can see, it can freely move around the board.
Mm. But that was jarring.
Yeah.
It was
twitching.
Mm.
But that was our subconscious.
Yeah.
It was our subconscious thought making it go somewhere. So it went to J, somewhere around here, it froze on D and E, and then went to yes.
Mm.
So J, D, E. If we were to write this down, we ain't got a fucking clue. I don't know anyone called J, D, E. No. Exactly.
Well, it hovered round.
It hovered in the H, I, J.
Mm.
And then it hovered around D, E, F. And subconsciously, I don't know.
It swung round.
Yeah. So it's like
J, U.
Yeah.
D and an E.
Jude.
Judas. That's A.
It's getting close. Maybe it can't spell.
Oh, we got a dyslexic.
We got a dyslexic demon. But my hand is cold. Whether it was a position, whether it was at
maybe
angle.
maybe it was like muscle contraction.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's basically.
So what do you think?
I don't know. I would so love for this to work.
Okay.
I would be happy.
You would be happy.
I would be happy.
You really want proof that my little spirit board, despite me not believing in it, I got it for this experiment, would work.
Mm.
See, if now I would want that to move over there, I'd want it to move somewhere. Whether it moved on its own or not, I'd want it to move.
Yeah.
But it's not going to because there's nothing there.
It doesn't rely on.
Look, I mean, there's nothing under the board to show you guys. it's just a board, and you can make this at home, and yeah,
you can, and people do.
Check this out. Right, we might have to stand up a bit because we're gonna need to put our wrists like this.
Okay. Right. At a weird, funny angle.
Exactly.
Got my hands really cold already.
But rest your 2 fingernails on it like this. You're so. Why are you shaking?
I'm not. It's cold.
Behave yourself.
It's cold.
It's cold. Right. If there's anyone there, can you go to yes? Can you go to no? Can you go to 1, 2, or 3? It's pretty close to you.
And hold his hand rather than mine.
I guess so. Maybe it's your grandmama. But you shouldn't be able to move it at all subconsciously. And I think this is how people should use the Ouija board. Because my fingers are on it, it's not moving. We're not getting anywhere.
My hand's jumping around because like my arm is really tensing. It's bad.
But alright, we'll do it stand up. So go on. This is where all the blood flow now goes to our fingers.
Yeah.
So if there's anyone there that wants to speak to us through the spirit board or Ouija board or Ouija board, it's the mystifying oracle. It was made by this man who pretty much died. But yeah, please go ahead. Please speak to us. Please move the board. I mean, most people joke about this board. But now we're upright, we've got our fingers on it, it ain't gonna move. No. Sat down, it will move. Because of the tension, the muscle, the way the movement
works. Contractions, like...
Exactly. So the dark corner tries a Ouija board and it fails.
Wow.
And there's you like, okay, it don't work. It don't work. But imagine a woman sat opposite you and you're like, I don't know, think of a girl's name quickly.
Jessica.
Okay, should Jessica date me? It would then go, you could move it to yes. Yeah. And you could get a date.
Oh yeah.
You could get laid. You could have this
like,
board.
Like you could edge it round.
Yeah, you could go to no. You could like we can happily move this all day, every day. I mean, you've got pretty much a better hold on it than what I have.
Yeah.
Because I can't. There's nothing. You've got the O and the U. So your fingers slot in.
You got one to lock, but
and I've
obviously
got
my middle is very weird. Like I'd have to hold it at a weird angle.
Yeah. To then go, oh yes.
To be able to like properly.
We're gonna go here. Yeah.
Yeah. To properly move it around. But if you're the pressure that you're applying.
Yeah. You're not gonna move it.
You're not gonna.
Even look, I'm putting pressure and I'm trying to push. It ain't going. This is why they said you've got to lightly put your fingers on it. So then subconsciously, your fingers are going to start shaking, it's going to move gently on its own, and gradually it will move somewhere.
Yeah, we've got to choose somewhere or something.
Yeah. It's not a hoax, but at the same time, it's not a contact to the dead. Yeah. I don't care what anyone says, it's not a contact. I know some people have had experiences where, say, the planchette has gone zoing and shot off. Yeah, look, watch. Me and Will can spin this around really quickly and go, oh shit, we don't know what it is. And all of a sudden, let go, and it'll go flying. We go, like that. It's gone. Yeah. Anyone can do that.
Yeah, that's just dynamics of how a clear surface.
Yeah, I mean, watch. Say like your fingers were on it as well. We're like, it shoots off. Yeah. Right. Most people, I have found, put a little magnet up here and a magnet underneath here. Like we could have put this board on the table, but I thought we'll keep it in the box. We'll move it around because it's a bit higher up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah? Well, we could give it another go. Do you want? He's now like, Ouija boards don't work. I've got no proof that ghosts exist. I'm pissed off. Aren't you? You're annoyed. So if anyone's there...
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. Right. Oh, now we've found out. Oh,
bye.
It's never going to work. But if anyone's there, anyone would like to contact me, I have loved ones which are dead, you have loved ones which have died. Anyone wants to contact myself or William, please move this. Show us that there is life after death. Show us anything. And I know I've opened up a gateway, allegedly, but this ain't moving. It's just a way to give comfort. in some retrospect, it's a way to give you a peace of mind, because you're going to be thinking, oh, I wonder, say my grandmother, I wonder if it was a painless death. And I would be sat here on my own trying to move that to yes, because that's what I would want.
Yeah.
And it would gradually do it.
Mm.
As I showed you with the ring effect.
Yeah, it would
gradually
do it purely
yes.
because obviously if
and
it was just one person, they'll be holding like either
one
side.
person, it's just two
very
fingers.
Very lightly.
Mate. Like even if I did 2 fingers, I've got the J, this bit basically. So I could easily move this board.
You can easily manipulate it.
However I wanted it.
Hmm.
But we can put our fingers on it, try it one more time. If there's anyone there that would like to speak to us, use our energy, use anything around us to try and move this planchette around and possibly say hello. Spell out something. Give us a number that we might recognise that only we would know. Move it to yes if you can see us, if you're sat in a room with us. Just do anything at all. And gradually, like I say, it might move. It might not. I mean, I'm lightly holding it. I mean, use our fingers, use the planchette. It's easy to move around. It will not take much energy. I've watched a lot of ghost things. I know what I'm talking about. But I just want, you know, I kind of want it to work for you. I'm kind of rooting for you.
Mm.
But I thought, you know what, I'm going to give you a different analysis of how this works.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people said if you get Ozo or Zozo or something, it's a bad sign.
Yeah.
But then again, this is what the people want. They want to be able to pretend they're talking to loved ones or even conjure up a demon.
Yeah, it's as you said, it's that
wanting.
It's that comfort.
It's that wanting. I mean, what better way to scare your friends? You all come round.
Oh yeah.
You play a Ouija board, and you're all like, "Oh,
and it
let's
types hell."
Yeah, and it types death.
Yeah, or kill, or
I mean,
something like that.
I understand people wanting things to work, but I physically don't think, other than possibly a clairvoyant who I have experienced myself, can speak to the dead. I don't think this can work. I think it all goes on your mental fortitude, and it all goes on what you want to believe.
Oh yeah.
But it's not moving.
No.
It moved more when we were sat down. Because we were at a position where we were like, ugh.
Yeah.
But now standing up, see, the game obviously is meant to be played sat down.
Yeah.
So you can have the muscle tension. So you can have something. But right now, even you holding it, you're on your own, buddy. But a lot of people at the end do go to goodbye. And if we have opened a gateway to demons, Goodbye. Thanks for your time. So, I would like to add, William decided, and so did the other guy who made the planchette, they decided to add felt because it's easier to move it around the board. Yeah.
Yes, I suppose beforehand, it's a medium that you can easily manipulate. Yeah. Like if you put rubber on the end of that thing ain't moving even if you want.
But felt helps it move around the board. Yeah. So anyone, the slightest movement. Imagine someone with arthritis or anything trying to do this. It would move everywhere.
But it would move to something or a name that they would know.
Exactly.
They're manipulating it in a way subconsciously that they want, as you said, they want closure.
They want answers. And the people on YouTube that use this board to, like I said, I have seen people fake the shit out of this board.
Oh yeah. I've seen a couple of people in everyday life.
Yeah.
Without cameras, without strings, they don't use the board as a medium for contacting.
No. I mean, I'm pretty sure someone's bound to go, oh, why did you say goodbye? I'm thinking like, look, superstition.
Yeah, I'm very superstitious.
He's superstitious. I will happily walk under a ladder. I don't want nothing happening to him when he goes home. But no doubt the demon will cling to me because it's my property. But you get the idea. It's like people on YouTube have gone, oh, it's gone to H-E-L-L. Oh shit, and then the lights go out. Or they fling this off the table, or the candles. They blow the candles out.
Or it goes to like 666 or something.
Yeah. 666 also isn't the sign of the devil, which people seem to.
Yeah.
Which people seem to go, 6, 6, 6.
No.
I want someone to get a Ouija board in front of me and prove to me it works with their fingers like that. Because there is no fucking way that's happening.
No. Like, unless you get to the point where your knuckles...
where your knuckles can then move it. But they tell you to use it this way.
Yeah.
Because it would just slide off your fingernail. That is also another way of proving it don't work.
Because like, even just sitting here with like that.
Yeah. If a
spirit, my hand is dancing over it.
Yeah. If a spirit wanted to move this, if we're going to believe spirits exist, it would move it on its own.
Yeah.
It would tug it around. It would yank it. But because it doesn't...
No. Well, I don't believe in the thing being able, like, apparition, ghost or thing, being able to physically contact stuff. Like, you've heard of poltergeist. Yeah. You've heard of the evil apparitions that can, you know, jump across rooms and like toss people out of houses. Yeah.
I would like
but that is a different format. That has a lot of anger. That has a lot of hatred.
I would like to add, right? You know when people have done table topping, where they have put their hands on the table.
Yeah.
Right. It takes one person to start shaking. The other person will try and stop the shaking. The other person will probably try and stop it. Yeah, one person can rock this whole table.
It's the ripple effect.
Yeah, it will all rock the table, which is also yet again debunked. And I add this Ouija board and other table topping experiments, seances also were debunked by the famous Harry Houdini. Yeah. He watched He watched people use wires. He was a very clever man. He watched people how they shook, and it created the ripple effect.
Yeah.
So this table's bouncing around everywhere. It's one person that starts it. Yeah. Then the other person starts getting scared. It's like, oh shit. Yeah. And already they're panicking. They're trying to stop it.
You can see, like in most of the experiments, the tablecloth clenches.
Exactly.
Because everyone's like,
trying to stop it. No, we don't want it. And before you know it, the table's rocking backwards and forwards. They're like, ah, shit.
And flying up in the air purely because
one person was on the nerve. One person was on the nerve. And if you got, say, 10 people around this table with your hands all next to each other, trying to talk to the dead, if anyone's there, can you rock the table? And then, like, gradually, as you're holding the table so tight, even now,
it will go.
It's going to start moving.
Like, obviously, they say that you're supposed to have your palms on the table.
But even that, I'm rocking
and 9 times out of 10, you would have them say, like, pick the table up.
Yeah.
Like, if you think, like, you can easily rock that. Yeah. Like, even with the slightest movement, but you would never be able to pick it up.
But if you had loads of people, gradually the rocking will get bigger, the table will come off. It not necessarily lift up, it will go from leg to leg.
It will lift up like that way, like everyone's trying to push him down and up.
Trying to get back
It's the seesaw. So you got the ripple, the seesaw effect, and everything else.
See, I listened to someone on YouTube saying you shouldn't use a Ouija board, it opens up a lot of portals to hell, right? She was very adamant, right? Whether she's had a bad experience, whether something happened to her that creeped her out, I have no idea. But I can safely say, the whole Ouija board...
And it's not a hole.
No. It's the whole Ouija board experiment.
Yeah.
I told you. We are back. We did the Ouija board experiment. We tested it out. But, in this room... Right, my grandmother saw her mother sit at the edge of the bed. My nan was reading her Women's Weekly magazine. Right, she was reading it. Something told her to look up. She looked up, saw the apparition of her mother. She smiled. My grandmother went, hello. And then the woman smiled back, which was my grandmother's mother, obviously. Yeah. And then she got up and went off and went straight into the bathroom. Right? Which is opposite this small room. Right? I happened to, at the time, open my bedroom door, see a woman that resembled my grandmother, walk out of the bedroom door, but it was dark, I didn't have the light on, so I didn't know the door was open or closed. Yeah. My grandmother often slept with a door ajar. She was often a bit wary.
Yeah.
She didn't like being trapped in claustrophobic, small room, right? But anyway, I saw a woman that looked like my grandmother leave this room and go straight into the bathroom. Now, I'm thinking, oh, Nan's gone to the bathroom. So I stood there on the landing for fucking ages and ages, thinking, fucking hell, she's been in there ages. I need a piss, I need a piss, I need a piss. And I waited, I was like, oh, come on, come on, come on. And then my nan's bedroom door opened up. My nan walked out and went, what are you doing? I was like, waiting to go to the toilet. She thought, oh, is your father in there? I was like,
holy shit, and it clicked. And I was like, I thought you were in the bathroom. And she was like, no. And I went, well, who's in the bathroom? I've got goosebumps, look at my arm.
Yeah,
right? I've got goosebumps, right? And I saw this, I'm not going to deny it, and my grandmother told me about it afterwards. She went, oh, that could have been my mother. And I was like, what? And she went, yeah. She was like, I was reading my book and I saw her sit on the edge of my bed, stand up and walk out the room after she smiled. And she went straight out the bedroom door. And I was there like, And at this point, I'm like, oh shit.
that'd be weird.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, oh fuck. I was like, oh wow, this is incredible. But I will say this, my grandmother and her mother, the spitting image of each other, they could be twins. So me thinking it was my grandmother when it was my grandmother's mother, or my great nan, yeah. Me thinking it was her, easy mistake to make when you look at the pictures. But even though I experienced that,
I assume the age that she had passed was close resemblance.
Exactly. This was when my nan was 61. And I remember it very vividly. And my grandmother laughed and joked about it. She was never really scared of ghosts, right? She laughed and joked about it. And I was like, are you serious? She went, yes, now go to bed. I was like, no, I can't. I can't sleep. Please tell me what this was. And she told me, kept telling me repeatedly. And I went, so she sat, I even walked into this room and I was like, sorry, so your bed was there. She was sat there. I tried to figure it out. And then when I told my father about it, he went, oh yeah, I've seen her walking around. I still thought it was Nan. Well, his mother, you know. And I was just like, yeah, I ain't sleeping. I ain't sleeping.
Yes, nobody told me about it.
Why hasn't no one told me this house is haunted? But I've seen that. And I found it incredibly weird. And as this is the dark corner, I thought I'd share it.
This is the place for it.
Yeah, I thought it was really weird. And the other, obviously, weird thing, I can't remember, I think I told you. So, when my grandmother passed away, she passed away at like 1:20, 1:21 on a Thursday morning, early hours morning. But it's Wednesday night, Thursday morning. She was coming out on Thursday. Anyway, my father was here. I got the phone call. I woke my father up because he'd travelled all the way down. And I literally said to him, I weren't shocked that she'd passed away. So I banged on the door and he was like, whoa, he was asleep.
Yeah.
And he opened the door and I was like, Nan's passed away. He went, what? And he was shocked. It hit him like, bang, right? Me, I'd been expecting it. I was fine, right?
Yeah, we talked about this before. It's that build-up.
Yeah, it was the build-up that I was very used to. So anyway, we drove obviously to the hospital. We sat with my nan for a while. You know, looking at her dead body, it was very weird because she was just laying there in bed. I mean, I even took a photo of her dead. And I thought, oh, that was kind of weird. Why did I do that? My auntie told me, take a picture, you know, because I take pictures. And it's the one picture I've never got rid of.
No, they do say that obviously pictures capture the soul.
Yeah. So I took a picture of my grandmother dead in the hospital bed. My father was very like, oh, I wouldn't have done that. Like, you know, he was crying his eyes out and he was like, I wouldn't have done that. And I was like, look, I've done it now. I took pictures of her while she was in hospital in my house, right? So we got back here at, I think it had to be like 5 o'clock, 4:30, 5. We got back and for me it was bittersweet. So for me I was just like, okay, I don't have to look after her. I can now be a bit more free than what I was, right?
She's now at rest.
Yeah.
I can relax.
So anyway, I went to sleep. I was perfectly fine. I went to bed, I was perfectly fine. I think I watched something on YouTube. I mean, like, for me it was like, I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Today was the day. I was glad my father and his partner were there. But at the same time I was just like, you know what, I didn't cry. So I was just like, you know what, it's fine. Anyway, my father and his partner were downstairs doing breakfast. Right? I went downstairs and he went, how did you sleep? And I was like, I slept, right? I slept perfectly fine. But I still felt like I was kind of sleepy, despite the night's events. Like, I'd woken them up here. So anyway, we're all in the kitchen and all of a sudden the front door makes a noise. So we're like, who's that? And we all stood in the kitchen. Now, obviously, you've been in the house.
Yep.
You got to see you're in the kitchen. You got your living room, then you got your stairway, right? So we were like, "What's that?" And then we heard this woman go, "Hello, lady," and we were all like, "Is that one of Nan's friends? Like across the road?"
Yeah.
Like, because obviously I didn't know if Dad had informed my Nan's friends that live locally.
Yeah.
So they were coming round, right?
To feed the dog and...
Or just to come round to see us, you know. So Dad was like, who's that? And I was like, I don't know. So we all walked into the living room. The dog, the little gremlin that you've probably all seen, was wiggling its tail. The living room door was open, and there was a pair of my nan's shoes right near the door. And they weren't there when we went to bed. And the dog was wiggling its tail, panting, all happy, hyperactive.
As
like
to
it
say
is,
that she would, she's
and
standing there.
And the thing is, that, like, whether this is creepy or not to you guys, like, we heard a voice. Like, you can't mistake my grandmother's voice.
No.
It's an old lady. I mean, my nan has old lady friends. We were simply thinking it was either a friend. It didn't occur to us until we went in and saw the dog going mental. And I walked towards the door and I was like, Dad, there's some shoes there. And he went, what do you mean? And he came over and he was like, where were they then? And I was like, right there. And he was just like, oh. And my dad was just like, she did say she was going to come home today. And I was like, I know. But it's the fact that we heard the voice and the dog was going mental for no reason.
Yeah.
That gremlin downstairs don't move for shit. She's a lap dog.
Bless her.
Yeah, she's a lap dog. And then later that night, this room was obviously still as my grandmother's. She would get about with a little walker when she could move about, right? So I went upstairs, my father and his partner were upstairs. Bearing in mind, 3 of us heard the noise of hello lady, and we saw the shoes, which we thought was a bit weird. And there was also a tissue near the stairs as well. And that tissue...
That she...
Possibly, but
got
she would,
out of her pocket and...
She would obviously carry a tissue and cough into
Nan
it.
used to like...
Tuck it in.
Tuck it
Yeah, you're with me, right? So there was a tissue, shoes, and the dog was going mental. Dogs don't go mental for no reason.
No.
And we heard that
There's
voice.
always that thing that the animals can sense.
Yeah, and we heard the
That's
voice of
different.
hello lady. And Nan said to me in hospital a couple of days prior, she was like, I want to go home and see lady, which was her dog. But that night, anyway, my father thought I was banging around. He thought I was banging around in the bedroom. Turned out I weren't banging around, I'd heard the noise. My father opened his door, banged on mine, and was like, what are you doing in there? Thinking it was me. I opened the door, I was like, nothing.
Nothing, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? You're banging around. He went, I ain't banging around. This door was open, and my nan's walker was in the bathroom. Like I said, I'm a skeptic, but I've seen stuff. There's stuff that I can't, like I said, I can't pinpoint. But for something like this, I've showed you the swing of the ship. I've showed you this movement.
It's called the pendulum effect, if I remember rightly, with the string.
Yeah.
It's like, because you can hold a pendulum and you're like, right, swing back and forth. And that arc between the thing is, you'd slowly, it would slowly swing and start swinging and get faster and faster and faster because your subconscious is going faster.
Move it faster.
Yeah. But
See,
I started yourself are going, no, stop.
I started asking myself to spin mine because I was thinking, right, I've gone forwards and backwards. I went side to side. I was like, now spin it. And then subconsciously I was making it spin. It's a very clever effect.
It is
It's a very clever effect to sell a board game.
It is indeed.
And with people wanting to know closure, like we said.
Yeah.
You want closure, you want something there. What better way than a board with numbers and letters and a little thing with a bit of felt on the end? And your own muscle movement. It's intelligent.
It is. It's a very smart and weird and wonderful way of doing it.
Yeah.
But obviously, you know, the human body does amaze.
You know what, right? I am really rooting for you to come across a ghost, or to see one, or to even attempt to find one or communicate with one, right? So this dark corner, should we say, is either going to be me debunking it and saying, hey, look, there's a scientific approach to this.
True.
Or we're going to go the other way.
There's going to be a few things within this series that we're going to check out. Like, you know, we've started with the main one. We've started with the Ouija board.
Would you like to take this home, Will?
No, I'm good.
He doesn't want it. He doesn't like it. Well, you know what, right? It's worth money. I'm going to be keeping hold of it. You know, even if it is just to say, hey, I have a Ouija board. Or Ouija board. But
no, we will go into a few more things later on in the series. There's other things that I want to try personally. And yeah.
I will look for a candle long enough. Right.
Is it sort of like the Millennium Candle, like massive?
We need like a candle.
Is it a long, thin white?
We just need a candle upright with preferably about that much length.
Okay, I've got a few of those.
Right, that we could obviously put.
Not that I like.
No, but that we can put in a candle holder, and that we can put in front of a mirror. And I want to show you how it changes your face.
Yeah.
And it is creepy, but I want you to focus solely on the flame. And this was also used because many people believed that the human body can manifest itself. You can see your evil side through looking into a candle to then looking up at the mirror and seeing a part of you that you've never seen before.
No, it's...
You're excited for that, aren't you?
I am excited.
Good little experiment. Has Will got a demon inside him that he's going to see through the candle?
I have got yellow eyes.
I've got green eyes. We're good. But yeah, so this has been the Dark Corner. We've got some new stuff coming to you guys. We got some, not necessarily debunking things, but we're going to show you how something like this would work. Or
we'd delve into the macabre, the dark side of most things.
Basically, yeah, we're going to be not necessarily digging up ways to contact the dead every turn.
No.
But we will.
We'll do a couple.
We'll do a couple. And we'll get
different experiments and different.
You know what?
Ways of going around stuff.
Yeah, but you know what? It's been quite entertaining.
It has.
Despite
it's been a very fun evening.
I mean, for you to go, okay, the Ouija board has worked in horror movies, or it's worked with your family members, and now I've kind of given you a little inkling of, oh, hang on, wait, maybe they all wanted it to go to yes. Like, it's kind of like a...
Yeah.
But feel free to purchase a Ouija board, or Ouija board, feel free, and test it out for yourself. And trust me, if you put enough pressure on it, it ain't moving. No. I don't care whether you allegedly have a demon in your house, whether you've got 600 ghosts in your house, whether you live in a church, whether you want to try it in a graveyard, you're all expecting the same result. If you expect no, you're going to get nothing. But if you're wanting something, you could move it.
We'll get something.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for tuning into the Dark Corner. And this has been the Ouija board experiment. Yeah, what's your thoughts? Do you think we've opened up a portal to hell? Because I don't think so. It's quite funny on the back as well. It says, will I pass my history test? What grade will I get? Will my parents let me go to the concert? What should I wear? Does Tommy know I like him? If so, who told him? Can you imagine teenagers come asking these questions back then? Will I ever be tall enough to slam dunk? How tall will I eventually be? It's wishful thinking. But seriously, the Ouija board,
check it out.
Check it out. Give it a test yourself, and also try that ring effect. Try that ring effect. It might actually, you know.
It might surprise you.
Yeah, it might. The last candle. It's been the Dark Corner. Thanks.